Okay, so we are going to be talking about different chemical and physical changes today, and you're going to see some examples of these. And you've got to tell me what evidence, if any, proves that it's a chemical change. And if there's nothing there, you know it's a physical change. So we're going to go through this little lab, and we're going to use this as like a checklist, okay? So the first one that we have there says drop a raw egg. Pretty simple. Watch and see. There should be a change here. Let's see if this works. Did it change? It did change. It changed. Perfect. So let's look at it. Did it change color on its own? Now don't tell me again, ooh, it turned yellow. No, it's already yellow. We're talking about a crazy color. If I left it here and all of a sudden it starts turning blue, that's a crazy color. Did it start bubbling? Do you see bubbles there? Is it foaming up? Is it making some kind of a gas? Is that? You guys just determine this on your own. Is there an odor? I don't know. Let's see. Does it smell like anything other than egg? No, it doesn't smell like anything other than egg. And the temperature change. Here you go. Feel it. Nope, no, on the bottom. Put your hand on the bottom. Okay. Is it getting hotter or colder? Yeah, it's cold because it was in the refrigerator, but is it getting temperature changing? Is it going hot or cold? No. Okay, so William says no, it is not changing temperature. And is there a new physical property? Did it change somehow? Change color, shape, texture, anything like that? At this point, you should be able to fill out the last column on whether it is a physical or chemical change. And you should be able to tell me what evidence proves why you picked physical or chemical change. So I'm going to give you a second right now to do your lab. The first line, you should be putting check marks or X's if there was a color change. Don't put an X if it didn't happen. If it didn't happen, just leave it blank. If it happened, put a check mark. So if nothing happened, if it did not change colors, don't put anything there, leave it blank. If it made bubbles, put an X or a check there. If it has a different smell, put an X or a check there. If not, leave it blank. You should be able to fill out if it was a physical or chemical change, and then you should be able to describe this. It is a physical change because this, or this didn't happen. This is a chemical change because it did this, or it did not do this, whatever. All right, while you finish that, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next one. Our next one says, put these shells, I'm going to take the shell of that egg that we just cracked up, take the shell, put it in a bag, and I'm going to add some vinegar. Okay. All right, let's see if you guys can see anything. Is it changing color? Don't answer. Is it doing any, let me crush them up a little bit more. There we go. That might be better. All right. Of course, I poke a hole in the bag. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you get the cheap bags. Okay, let's try that now. Okay, So I'm gonna leave that right there for a little bit and see if you guys can see any kind of a color change or bubbles.
How do we know if it's an odor change?
There's not, I'm gonna tell you right now, there is not an odor change. All you're gonna smell is vinegar, okay? So there is no odor change. And I'll also tell you, there is no temperature change. Okay, it's not getting any hotter or colder. But let's see. Trying to do it up close. See if you can see. Are there any bubbles being made? All right, again, up close for my online friends. Do you see some bubbles being produced? Try to walk around if you can't see. How can you tell if there's bubbles being produced?
If it went from no
If it's
bubbles.
foaming up, if the bag is blowing up, if you see bubbles actually moving. Okay, again, for our friends online, here you go, take a look at it. What do you kind of see? We're gonna let that sit there for a little while and just go from there and see what happens after that. So we'll come back to that one, okay? The next one. Next thing I got a piece of paper here. Ready? Did it change? And now you can check and see, was there a color change? Are we making bubbles? Is there an odor change? I don't smell anything. Temperature change? I don't feel anything. Is there a new physical property? Give you a few minutes at this point to be able to tell, is it a chemical change or a physical change? And why? What evidence do you have? It's chemical because I saw this, or it's physical because I saw this? Taking that piece of paper. Our next one is going to be taking that paper very carefully. I'm only just going to take a little piece so I don't set off the smoke alarm. Okay. Again, there you go for online people. For those here in class. This is burning of paper. Did it produce a gas or bubbles? Did it change color? Again, for those online, I'll let you see it again. Is there any kind of a gas Is it changing color? Is there an odor? For my friends online, you have probably burned something before. Is there a smell? Is what it's asking you. Did it change temperature? Did that paper change temperature when I lit it on fire? And finally, was there a new physical property? Did it change to the point you wanted to describe it differently somehow? Which then brings us, is this a chemical change or a physical change? And your evidence is what? It's chemical because of this, or it's physical because of that? Next one. Okay, so I'm going to take milk, real simple. Take that milk, it is now in a graduated cylinder. Looks like that. I'm going to take that milk, pour that milk into the beaker. Did it change? Changed shape. But the question now is, did it change color by moving it, changing it to one container to the other? Did it change? Does it make bubbles? You see a bunch of bubbles being produced. I know there's a couple bubbles on there because I poured it in there. But is there being bubbles? Is it still bubbling? No. Does it smell anything other than milk? No. Temperature change. Is that changing temperature? Is it getting colder or hotter? No. Evan says no. So is there a new property? Is something changing on that? Which should then prove to you if that's a chemical or physical change. And why? The next one. We're going to take that same milk and I'm going to pour some lemon juice into that milk. So question number one is, does it change color? Is that changing color? Bubbles, is it making bubbles? There's a couple bubbles in there right now, but is it actually making more? The next one, odor. What should this smell like? Lemon juice. Does it smell like something other than lemon juice? Temperature change. Is it getting hotter or colder? Is it changing temperature? Or is it just staying the same? What'd you say? Nope, staying the same. We're going to let that one sit for a few seconds also. Next one, taking steel wool. I have steel wool. I'm going to change it by doing this. Okay, take the steel wool, tease it apart. I've changed it. Did it change color? Did it make bubbles? Does it have some kind of a smell? Did it change temperature? And is there a whole new physical property? Which then should bring you to, yes, this is a chemical or physical change, and why? What proves that? All right, I'm gonna go outside and do this one. I'm going to go out and light it on fire. I'll let you see what it looks like when it's done.
You did it last year instead of last night.
Okay. Again. Did it change color? Did it make bubbles? Does it smell? Does that smell? She said, yep, smells different. Did it have a different temperature change? I'll give you a hint. Yeah, I can't hold it. And finally, is there a new physical property? Is it something completely new? And then you should be able to tell me if it's a physical or chemical change. Our next one. Go back to our vinegar. I'm going to add some stuff to it. All right. Here we go. Vinegar and baking soda. Does it change color? Does it produce bubbles? Change odor? Okay, here we go. Did it change color? Did it bubble? Is there a smell to it? Other than vinegar, does this smell like anything different? Nope, smells like vinegar. Did it change temperature? Is it getting hotter or colder? Nope, okay. What physically changed? What can you tell me? Is it a physical or chemical change? And why do you say that? Last one. Taking a soda. Now some of you are saying, oh, it's making bubbles. No, there's bubbles already in there. They're not making anything. Those bubbles are already there. That's just because I poured it. So I'll kind of let those bubbles go down. Now, they're about gone. Okay. Is it changing color? Is it making more bubbles? Or is it just releasing the bubbles? Is it changing temperature? Or have any smell, any odor? What do you say? Change the smell? Or does it smell like root beer? Feel it? Is it getting hotter or colder? Nope. Okay. Is there any physical change you can have on this? Or is this a chemical or physical change, and why? And now let me go back to some of the ones we've already done. Okay, this is the eggshell and the vinegar at the beginning. Okay, in case you can't see it, this is what you're looking at. And then the last one was the milk and lemon juice. Give you a good look and see how it's changed since then. In fact, if you want to watch, you might be able to see. There we go.
Is that the milk? Is that the milk?
That's the milk and vinegar. And you can kind of see what has happened, especially on the outside of the glass. Okay. At this point on the back of your paper, the last question there says, write a paragraph to explain how a change can be categorized as physical or chemical, and be sure to include specific evidence that would support the categorization. In other words, tell me what makes physical property or physical changes a physical change, and what makes a chemical change a chemical change.